Dive into it. I'll tell you a story-style explanation of how the Army and Navy trained before and during World War II, and how they prepared themselves for such a massive conflict. In the years before World War II, the U.S. Army was actually quite small compared to European powers. Soldiers were mostly young men from farms, towns, and cities who had never seen combat. When they joined, training started simple: marching drills, long days learning to march in formation, carry rifles, and follow orders. Discipline was everything. Rifle ranges. Every soldier had to be accurate with their M1 Garand rifle. Hours of shooting practice turned nervous recruits into confident marksmen. Field exercises. Soldiers would camp in the woods, crawl through mud, dig foxholes, and practice night maneuvers. They learned how to fight as a unit, not just as individuals. War games. Huge training exercises were staged with thousands of men, tanks, and artillery. These were like mock battles to prepare for the real thing. By the time they shipped overseas, the Army had transformed ordinary men into disciplined fighters ready for Europe and the Pacific. The U.S. Navy's training was just as intense but very different, since they had to fight on the sea and in the air. Basic seamanship. Recruits learned to tie knots, steer ships, and handle storms at sea. Many had never been on the ocean before. Gunnery practice. Sailors trained on big naval guns, learning how to aim and reload quickly to defend against enemy planes and ships. Damage control drills. Fires and flooding were deadly on ships, so sailors practiced sealing off compartments, putting out fires, and rescuing crew. Carrier training. Pilots trained to take off and land on aircraft carriers, one of the most dangerous jobs. They'd practice again and again until they could land on a moving ship at night in rough seas. Convoy protection. The Navy staged practice missions escorting supply ships, since keeping supply lines open across the Atlantic and Pacific would be crucial. By 1941, after Pearl Harbor, training became even tougher and faster. The Navy worked day and night to churn out new sailors, ship crews, and pilots who could face the Japanese and German navies. The Army and Navy didn't just train separately, they worked together. Sometimes mock amphibious landings were staged where Army soldiers would practice storming a beach while Navy ships bombarded the shore. These drills prepared them for invasions like D-Day in Normandy and island battles in the Pacific. In short, training turned raw recruits into hardened, skilled soldiers and sailors who could take on the largest war the world had ever seen. Would you like me to make this into a scary, intense story of a single soldier and sailor going through training, with mud, fire, and fear, or keep it more historical and factual?